Hey, wrestling fans, effing true followers, and members of the YWC. Brian Crazy.
JC Styles.
JC Styles.
High five.
And we are back with our review of Destination X 2011. Before we start the review, I do want to throw out a couple quick plugs. Please check out WrestlingRevolution.com. Me and JC recently joined the Revolution. All the members of the Revolution produce fantastic content, so check them out. Also would like to plug the Effin' True Click. It's a little brainchild of me and JC Styles. We're trying to get together, well, we've got a group, but we're going to get together and do roundtable discussions where we're going to cover all aspects of the business, so it's going to be pretty exciting. But we're not here for that. We're here for Destination X.
Yes. Destination X just went off the air just a little while ago, and Holly, so far, pay-per-view of the year.
Pay-per-view the last 2 years.
Yes.
I mean, it blew everything away in the last 2 years.
With the exception of Bound for Glory.
Bound for Glory.
But,
Kurt and Jeff had some good matches, but like we were talking about when we were watching the pay-per-view, an X Division match compared to a heavyweight match is like wheat bread compared to white bread. They're two totally different animals.
Yes, but we did have two main eventers, AJ Styles and Daniels, in the main event.
Oh,
and that's match of the year candidate right there.
Oh, it is match of the year. I don't see how they're going to top that unless these guys somehow develop a feud between the two.
Yes. Key moments of the night, we see Austin Aries.
Austin Aries did pick up the contract, yes.
We see Alex Shelley win Ultimate X.
Correct.
We have a new X Division champion, Brian Kendrick, which with a very shocking term of events at the end of the match, which we'll get into when we get to that match.
It got good. It got real good. RVD picked up the win over Jerry Lynn, and the match actually got a little controversial.
Yes.
With the inclusion of a foreign object, which we'll go into in a minute.
And then the main event, we saw AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels tear the roof off the house.
God.
Also, Samoa Joe still can't pick up a win.
But Joe was really strong tonight, but you can tell that Joe needs to face more X Division stars. Yes. He needs to get that speed and that quickness that he had back up. He did phenomenal, don't get me wrong, but out of every match in the night, this was the one that I wish the pace was just a little faster.
Yes.
I'm not saying that the superstars didn't do great. I'm not, disrespecting them. They did a fantastic job for us tonight. I can't do the things they do. All I can do is admire it as a fan and as an analyst of the business and, give my thoughts. But these guys, every single one of them tore the fucking roof off.
For those of you who are going to bash this pay-per-view, I say screw you.
Don't even bother leaving your comments below.
Don't.
I'm tired of hearing these comments, oh, TNA sucks, so why'd you click on a fucking TNA video? Okay? I don't mean to swear. I know there's younger guys that are watching this show right now, but, there's just one thing that really, really gets under my skin. And then there's another thing that's been getting under my skin lately. People asking if we're legit TNA fans. Okay, we watch every show. We review them in depth. These are all stars that we enjoy and appreciate.
Let me break it down. Okay.
We're here for the card.
You know what? For a little piece of information, you want to see how much of a TNA fan I am? When Brian starts to go later into the card, I'll run upstairs and show you how much of a TNA fan I really am. Okay? 2, I've been watching TNA since 2005. Guys like Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Sanjay Dutt, Jay Lethal, P.D. Williams, Eric Young, Matt Bentley, Robert Roode, the rest of Team Canada. Okay, the X Division, they got me into watching TNA. And I have evolved into an all aspect of wrestling in TNA. When the Knockouts, when Christy Hemme went on that 3 to 4 month feud with VKM because she wanted to cement women wrestling in a men's company, I was there and I was supporting that. I supported everything about TNA, whether it was good, whether it was bad. So that makes me a hardcore TNA fan. Yes, I didn't get a chance to watch the weekly pay-per-views because at that time I didn't know that TNA was in existence. It wasn't until I sat down one night and I was flicking one afternoon. I was flicking through the station and I saw Fox Sports. I saw Jeff Jarrett, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and Diamond Dallas Page standing in the ring, and that's when it also pulled me in. But the X Division is what got me hooked.
Exactly.
Okay?
And that's the same thing when I started watching WCW back in the day. I loved the big stars. I loved Nash. I loved Hall. Especially, when they brought in Goldberg, I enjoyed him as well, even though to be honest, he did have a limited moveset. In 7 minutes, the match was over.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the Goldberg character. I thought he was fucking awesome, and that's just me. Anybody can have their opinions that they want. You're entitled to them. That's what makes this world so great. But the thing about it is, it was the cruiserweights that hooked me in, and it's the same thing that hooked me into TNA. You saw the great cruiserweights. You saw Malenko. You saw Jericho. You saw Lance Storm. I mean, just incredible talent. But let's start running through this card.
The first match of the night, we saw Kazarian versus Samoa Joe in a very good match.
It was good.
It was a very good match, but it goes to show that Samoa Joe needs to be in the ring with a more polished guy like Kazarian, because right now when he's feuding with guys like Crimson and he's feuding with guys like Pope for obviously no apparent stupid, oh, you lied, you're not about the people type storyline. Then you got somebody in a Green Hornet mask running around following the Pope. That's not Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe was a fierce competitor in the X Division. He went undefeated in the X Division for a year and a half. He held the X Division title. He beat some of the TNA X Division bests, and now he's jobbing on a 4-month losing streak. He's at the bottom of the list with 0 in the Bound for Glory series.
Yeah, and I totally agree with what you said. See, the thing about it is, in professional wrestling, you gotta think, they have so many people on the talent roster, and they rotate talent in and out of the main event, in the mid cards, and this, that, and the other. But what they're doing with Samoa Joe, he's not getting rotated in or out. He's just at the bottom right now. And like JC said, this is one of the original guys. He's done it all. He went undefeated and took his whole feud with Kurt Angle.
Yes.
I mean, the guy's a freaking legend in TNA as far as I'm concerned, and as far as many fans are concerned. And like you said, I want to see that fierce Joe back again. Yeah. But the look in his eye at the end of that match told the whole story, and if he can harness that and use it in future weeks, I think we'll see Joe be successful yet again.
Yes, Subline, Kazarian beat Joe in a hard-fought match, and it was just a really good match. And there was a lot of good spots, but Kazarian got the upper hand and picked up the win. Then we moved into the next match of the night.
Yeah, we moved into the next match. Former 2-time X Division champion Douglas Williams. He was kind of an unconventional X Division champion, but he was a good one. He was more mat-based. Douglas Williams doesn't do a lot of moves off the ropes. Very mat-based guy, but very sound. He went against a gentleman by the name of Mark Haskins. A lot of you guys might not be familiar, but while we're watching it, I actually searched on the net real quick. Mark Haskins is very big over in Great Britain, where Douglas Williams is from. He has fought in some of the biggest arenas over there, Wembley Stadium, just to name one. And the guy brought it. I was a little skeptical, but the guy brought it.
When I seen the guy walk out, first thing on my mind was I looked at the size of him, then I looked at the size of Douglas Williams, and I was like, all right, this is going to be a squash match, 5 minutes tops. And the match actually went, I think, about a good solid 10, 15 minutes.
All of the matches, that's one thing, guys. If you haven't seen the pay-per-view, but yeah, all of the matches went a good solid time. There was no BS finishes.
No.
There was no long... I like the entertainment aspect of wrestling. I'm not going to lie. I like, the video packages and the promos and this, that, and the other. But tonight, it wasn't about that. Tonight was just about the in-ring aspect. You had quick 1-minute interviews backstage. You had a little video package before the Daniels and the Abyss match. But that was it. There was they weren't dwelling.
They weren't dwelling. Then we had the...
Well, Douglas Williams did pick up the win over Mark Haskins in a phenomenal match. Every match tonight...
I thought Mark Haskins won.
No, Douglas Williams won. Okay. Then we moved into the next match. This was tag team action. We saw Eric Young, and it took him a little while to find a tag team partner, but he picked up a partner in Shark Boy, which, if I wasn't mistaken, I thought Shark Boy actually was done with TNA wrestling.
I thought he was actually done with TNA wrestling, and I thought this would have been a kind of a cool way to maybe for one night bring back another X Division star. The same thing with the Douglas Williams match. I said, dude, that would be awesome if they got someone like Petey Williams to return just for one night. Even with this match, in the Douglas Williams match, open challenge, or maybe even the Eric Young tag match with Generation Me. 2 members of Team Canada, which was a fantastic stable in the early days.
Imagine if they could have got Scott D'Amore as well.
Yes.
If you had Scott D'Amore and Petey Williams backstage, just kind of walking around like, oh, he's going to check out the show, and then you got. I got to break it down real quick. I love Eric Young. Don't get me wrong, but
he looked homeless.
Yeah. really bad. That's not cracking on any of the people that are less fortunate that might not have a place to live, but this guy seriously looked like he crawled out from under a rock.
I'm gonna let Brian take this for a couple of seconds. I'm gonna run upstairs because that comment that we are not true wrestling fans or TNA fans has really got me bugged. Okay. So I'll be right back with proof.
I mean, I could go get my memorabilia as well. I saw TNA earlier in the year. I have over 14 autographs for TNA. Multiple pieces of memorabilia. I met Kurt Angle, I met Madison Rayne, I met Matt Morgan, I met Jeff Jarrett, I met Jeff Hardy, just to name a few. I met Jesse Neal, I met the Prince of Punk Shannon Moore, I met Don West, I met Jeremy Borash, you know, all incredible talent. So anybody that has the audacity to say that I don't support TNA can, you know, basically stick it. But let's start running through this card. Then we see the Ultimate X match. We see Alex Shelley go against Robbie E, go against Shannon Moore, go against the Amazing Red. This is a good match. We see three guys up on the structure at once on the ropes, suspended above the ring. Fantastic action between all these competitors. And at the end of the day, Alex Shelley was successful. So then we move into RVD versus Jerry Lynn. This was a phenomenal match yet again. And Jerry Lynn actually at the end of the match, when we mentioned at the beginning of this video, it kind of had a controversial finish. Jerry Lynn grabbed a chair, put it down the ring, RVD ends up getting slammed on it, and he's busted open. So, you know, the referee's like, hey, what about the chair? RVD said, hey, he brought it in. You know, it's fair game now. And man, by the end of this match, it was brutal. It almost seems like Jerry Lynn was kind of taking almost a heel turn as of sorts. It was just a great contest. RVD did pick up the win. Then we move into our next match of the night, which is Austin Aries versus Zema Ion versus Loki versus Jack Evans. And my broadcast colleague JC Styles is coming back on camera now, hopefully.
You know, you want to question if I was no, I know. If you want to question, I'm not a TNA fan. They should question if I'm a hardcore TNA fan. This is the TNA World Heavyweight Championship before Jeff Hardy turned it into the Crayola piece of crap. Okay, this is a $500 belt that I bought. Okay, so if you're gonna question me if I'm a hardcore TNA fan, this should prove it right here.
Don't ever fling the belt like you're the Miz again. But, you know, and I was just explaining to the people, you know, if I wasn't a TNA fan, I wouldn't spend my hard-earned money to go see their show. You know, I stayed there until every single person was cleared out of that arena so I could meet every single star that I possibly could, and I listed down the name of stars. While everybody was so worried about lining up for Jeff Hardy to get the picture, which I did meet Jeff Hardy at the end of the night. I was like the last person. While everybody was worried about that, I went to the barricade, and I was catching anybody who walked by. And, you know, it didn't matter. Time was irrelevant. It was a moment, you know, for me. It was just phenomenal. But I ran through the Ultimate X and the Jerry Lynn match. Would you like to make any comments on those two, and then we could jump into the big four-way?
Yes. You know, we've seen the guys, you know, like we did in our predictions video, we talked about their feud throughout ECW in the 90s. Their feud that carried over to WWE and, you know, now is carrying over to TNA. You know, it's plain and simple. These guys went out there with a lot of time, with a small time period, and tore the roof off the house. You know, with a little bit of the controversial with the steel chair being introduced, you know, Earl Hebner wanted to stop the match, but RVD kind of said, no, he bought it in.
It's fair game now.
And it's fair game, you know, and we saw basically Jerry Lynn power bomb, send, like it was a elevated throw power bomb, kind of like the border toss, halfway across the ring on top of the steel chair. You know, it was just freaking amazing that this match went so far, and it was just amazing that the match was just so amazing. I mean, there were so many spots. You know, you had RVD hit the 5-star, which he hit it so hard he caused him to do a cartwheel.
Oh yeah, he hit I forgot to mention that when I was touching on a minute ago. He hit the 5-star so freaking hard that he like went up on his arms and like flipped over. It was phenomenal. Tell the fans what I did.